is your Classic Metal Show right here on theclassicmetalshow.com. That is a brand new tune from the band Eclipse. The name of that one is Love Bites, and here's a guy that definitely doesn't bite. It is Erik Martennson of Eclipse. Erik, how are you, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good, man. Well, Erik, I got to tell you right off the bat, man, as an Eclipse fan, this might be my favorite record that you guys have done for several reasons. The most important being it's just a little bit more gritty than what you've done in the past, which I love.
Oh, cool. Great.
Excellent. Well, man, it's been a few years now since Bleed and Scream came out. That seems to be you guys' pattern as a band. You guys don't seem to just do an album every year as some bands do. You know, why do you guys take kind of more of an extended period between records?
Yeah, the reason is I'm doing more than one album every year. I do 4 or 5 albums every year. As I'm working as a producer, producing and writing for other bands and artists. And sometimes, the schedule, we release an album and then you go on tour and you play. And I'm running my own studio and I do a lot of rock records and I mix a lot of albums and mastering jobs for a lot of labels. So that is the reason I'm doing too many albums every year.
But you got to pay the bills, right?
Yeah, I got to pay the bills. Usually pay a lot of musicians to have a day job, and my day job is doing rock records.
Right, certainly, man. Well, listening to the new record, Erik, ARMEGEDDONIZE it's pretty much everything that an Eclipse fan generally likes. So talk a little bit about how this record came together for you.
The album was made. We did it very fast. We spent less than 3 months from starting writing of the first song until we delivered the final master to the label. So we've never done a record so fast in so short. I mixed I think 3 songs a day.
Wow.
Just to meet the deadline, and it's we didn't have time to think about anything. It's if it wasn't good, change it, do it immediately. I was still doing the lead vocals while I was mixing the album and writing the lyrics. The day before I had to deliver the album, I was still doing the final lyric for it's a song called I think it's One Life, My Life. Mm-hmm. That the day before I delivered the final master, I did the lyrics for that one and did the lead vocals.
Wow!
So it was done in panic, but sometimes it's good to do something in panic because you don't have time to think about stuff too much. And one thing is it sounds more Eclipse than ever, as you said. It's got everything for an Eclipse fan, and I guess that is one of the reasons we just do an album that we had in ourselves, and we didn't have time to get too much influences from other styles. And
sure. Do you think that in the future you'll do that again because this worked out so well?
I'm not sure. It kind of depends on where we are in our lives at that part. But if I know everything, we always get more and more work, and I've got more and more work from other labels as well. So realistically, yes, it's going to be a Panic Made album next time as well. So
certainly. Well, listening to the songs, and like I said at the beginning, this album has just a little bit more of a harder edge feel. I mean, there's actually a couple songs, especially in the guitar lines, that almost sound just a little bit more almost heavy metal versus hard rock, which is not much of a stretch for you guys, but just a little tinge heavier. Were you guys looking to be heavier this time, or is it just the way that the songs came out?
It's the way that, we don't listen. Some people say we are kind of a AOR band, and we don't see ourselves at all. We see us as a hard rock band, and we personally, everyone in the band, we listen to hard rock and heavy metal. That is the music we love. And, for me, I listen a lot to death metal and thrash metal as well. And I love, every kind of,
okay.
So for us, it's not a big thing. We just make guitar riffs and songs that we find we like ourselves, and they just happen. But we don't think too much about it. We just do songs we like, and we like stuff with a lot of aggressivity, some aggression, and kind of a bite to them.
Sure. Why do you think people put you into that box of AOR versus more of a hard rock type of a band?
I think we made 2 albums in the start of 2001. We released the first one, and I was just a small kid back then, and we see it as kind of official demos. We did 2 albums, and that's kind of, and they were more kind of AOR-ish.
Okay.
Kind of. I don't know why we did an album, but why they sounded like that, because we were still listening to heavier stuff. But I think people kind of nailed us into that kind of genre back then, and we haven't been able to get out of it really. Even if we of course we like that music as well, but. And another thing is, I got kind of a wimpy voice, and it sounds very poppy when I sing, and it's very melodic. So it's, people can sometimes, yes, if it's melodic and it's a wimpy voice, then it's pop or AR. Right. Even if it doesn't matter if it's death metal in the background, they think, if it doesn't go like, right, it's still, yeah.
Sure, and it probably doesn't help your cause any that Andrew over at melodicrock.com is like your biggest cheerleader.
Yeah, he we must do something that he really loves, because I think we have our like a highway straight into his heart.
Right.
Just go straight in. Right.
Certainly.
I couldn't be happier.
Definitely, and we know Andrew personally. He's a really good guy. So
Yeah.
Well, moving forward, and looking at your career, Erik, it's no secret at all that you are in the world of writing, you are one of the most prolific songwriters out there. And you write not only for yourself, but you obviously have written for any number of bands at this point. When you write a song, what is it that makes you say, okay, this should be an Eclipse song, or this should be for this guy, or this should be for, some other project that I'm going to do, like the Wet project or something?
It's pretty easy. I don't sit down writing songs, and yes, I always have a plan when I write songs, because I'm always, nowadays, if you go back 15 years ago, then I could just sit down and write songs without a plan. But nowadays, I'm always have a plan, or I'm booked for a project. So I always write for a specific project at the moment. So when I'm writing for another band, that's the songs I'm gonna write, and I'm gonna focus 100% on doing the best songs I possibly can for any other band. I never spare, this is a really good song, I keep it to myself and I give them the pretty good song. That doesn't happen. I always spend, I always give 100% for everyone. And the same thing, we don't have a lot of Eclipse songs just lying around. When it's time to do an Eclipse album, we write an Eclipse album, and that is the focus, because I think you gotta have focus on what you're doing, and you gotta aim at the right place when you write. Otherwise it can be all over the place, and you spend a lot of time doing stuff that you won't probably have an album anyway.
Sure. Now, you've worked with Jeff Scott Soto on this project called Wet, and certainly a great couple of records that you guys have done. How did that project do for you, and I guess the bigger question is, what does it take for a project like that is kind of a super group type of a thing? What does it take for you to feel like that's a successful project?
I don't know. We started out, we didn't have any plans when the whole project started out, and we didn't. Me and Robert from Work of Art, we were just happy to be working with Jeff Scott Soto. He used to sing with Yngwie Malmsteen, in Sweden. Yeah, he's big in the US as well, but in Sweden, he's the big guitar hero that made it all over the world. And we were listening to it since I was a kid, and it was Jeff fucking Scott Soto is going to sing on an album, and it's just like, wow. And we just did songs from the heart, and we didn't think so much about it. We just wanted to do classic rock songs for him, and it turned out to something much greater than it. So we didn't have that grand plan of when we did that album and the whole project. It just kind of happened. And Jeff also, when he got the songs, he was like, fuck, this is good. It's good stuff. So it's kind of it turned out from just a project to something to a band.
Sure. Definitely. And is it still an active band? I mean, are there going to be more releases from Wet?
We haven't planned any more releases yet, but it's not active in that way. But it's not dead either. It's we're releasing our new ARMEGEDDONIZE album, and Work of Art came out this fall with their new album, and Jeff is releasing his new band Soto as well. I think he released it today or something. So or this. I think it's going to be released this week or last week. I don't know.
Right.
So we're pretty occupied with our own bands right now, and I think that is a really good thing. And in between, when it fits the schedule, we're definitely going to work on a new Red album.
Excellent. Now, one of the sadder things recently was the passing of Jimmy Jamison, and you worked with him, you wrote with him. Where were you when you heard about his passing, and were you surprised when it turned out to be an overdose? Because so many people that I've read and read from interviews and whatnot were just shocked that that's what happened to him.
Yeah, I was here. I was in the studio. I was coming to the studio and I checked. I saw it on Facebook, and I think it was Andrew at Melodic Rock. I think I saw his. A friend of mine actually texted me. That's the way it happened, and the whole overdose thing just seemed. It felt it's really unreal because that's not the Jimmy Jamison I thought I knew, and a lot of people knew, and he was just a. You didn't even see him with a drink in his hand usually.
Sure. Yeah. Just sad, man. Just incredible, and an incredible talent just taken. It just sucks. But,
yeah, and I did his last album.
Right.
I produced his last solo album, and so I'm really honored to have had the chance to work with him. His vocals were just out of this world. They were great. It was so good. I got goosebumps when I was mixing the album. It's just fantastic.
Sure. Well, let's move back to Armageddonize for a minute. What kind of expectations do you guys have for the release in 2015?
I don't know. For us, it's people have never. It's a lot of people are knowing that it's going to be released, and we got a lot of, even here in Sweden, it's never happened before. But we have like the mainstream big media is going to they're doing the reviews of the stuff, and they make a small note, just listen to the new single, and that for us it's usually they don't touch these kind of bands with they don't care about it at all. They just care about new and
right.
New music and but more modern. Contemporary music. So for us, it's a lot of people are paying attention this time, and it's really fun because you of course you want people to listen to the music you do, but still we don't write for others. We do the music we love ourselves, and if people like it, we always when we write music, it's always a bonus if people think it's good. We always write the album we want to hear, and I think that's the only way to do it.
Sure. Now, will you guys get to tour this year on Armageddonize?
Yeah, we're gonna. I think we're gonna do like 50 gigs or something this year.
Okay, wow. Is that in Europe or any in the States or? No,
nowhere in the States yet. But we are looking up. We are the States are. It's a huge country, and
sure.
It's not easy to go over there, and get the economy right and everything. Most people don't even know we exist, of course. So. Right. No people know we exist. 5 people do.
Well, hopefully we'll make it 7 or 8, right?
yeah, sure. But it's we're going to start off with Sweden. We're going to do Sweden, Norway. We're going to do UK, and we're going to do Spain, and we're going to do Italy in the first run.
Okay.
That is going to take us over a month. So it's even Europe. It's a lot of ground to cover, and it takes time.
Sure, definitely. Well, Erik, as we said, the new album is called Armageddonize, and as a tradition on the show, we always let the artist pick a closing track from the record. So what would you like us to play, and maybe tell us a quick story about it to wrap this one up?
Which one should I choose? Do you want a rocking track?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Have you played any songs yet?
Love Bites.
Love Bites. Well, let's go... We can do one of one of those mid-tempo tracks anyway. If you already got a rocking track. So we play the Storm. That is for me it's a very special song because it's my father passed away in September in the middle of this when we were writing the whole album, and the Storm is kind of it's a song I wrote myself, and it's kind of it kind of captures the feeling I had at the moment when you get the shocking message of that has happened, and so it's it's not 100% I love the song anyway. It's special for me. So you play it. The Storm.
All right. Well, let's check it out right now. This is Eclipse with The Storm right here on your Classic Metal Show.